Hi, guys. Welcome back to season 2, episode 1 of your guys' favorite podcast, Scripts and Screens. I'm your host, Imani Nicole.
And I'm Ashana Robinson.
Did you guys miss us? We have been doing a little bit of rebranding, and that's why we have been kind of out of the way for a little bit, but we're back and we're better than ever.
Yes. So the first thing, we want to start with a contest because we want to have a listener name. I guess that's what you call it. The only thing we've come up with is Scripties, but we're not really sold on that. So if you guys can come up with a better listener name, we will give you 2 free tickets to a movie of your choice. And I know we're dropping these next 2 episodes the same day. So we will announce the winner on episode 3.
Which will be on the following Monday. So not on the 8th, but on the 15th, that winner will be announced.
Yes. And then I will post on the story and on the page to remind you guys. And I'll probably go ahead and do that after I record this. So you'll probably see the contest before you hear this episode.
Hear about
so you
it.
could be thinking, yes. Yeah, if you can come up with a name other than Scripties, you'll get 2 free tickets. But if we don't like any of them, then we're just going to stick with Scripties.
Yeah. They can't be mad about that.
Right. But yes, so let's get right on to it. So the first pop and plot pick that we had was actually a recommendation from Shayla X-Ray on Instagram. Shout out to her. And that's another thing that we've added to season 2. Each week we will be watching and discussing either a TV show or a movie of your pick, one of you listeners, and we'll also take your opinions and your thoughts, and we will express them for you on your behalf on the show, along with what we think, whether we agree, disagree, all that good stuff. So Shayla picked Miller's Girl, and the overall premise of the movie is a young but legal student and her teacher have a mutual attraction, but things go left when she writes an erotic story where the characters are closely based on the 2 of them. This movie stars Jenna Ortega as Cairo Sweet and Martin Freeman as Mr. Miller. Freeman is 31 years older than Ortega. Rotten Tomatoes rated this film 30%, and Shayla herself rated a 4 out of 10. Imani, what did you think?
Yeah, I think Rotten Tomatoes and Shayla are right. It's definitely an F. It failed. I would give it probably, I think 40%, 4 out of 10 is about right.
Yeah. And I really didn't know how it was going to go. Like, I could tell like it was an inappropriate teacher-student relationship, but you really couldn't tell where it was going to go. So they could have took it anywhere, and they just took it here, which wasn't really.
No, literally.
Yes. So let me go ahead and start with what Shayla said about the movie, and then I'll go ahead and say if I agree or disagree, and you can chime in, of course. So a very interesting point that she brought up was the fact that it looked like Winnie Black, played by Gideon Alden, was a bad influence on Cairo, but she really just brought out the bad traits that were already inside of Cairo. As we saw, Cairo Sweet was no saint. She wanted to be wanted sexually and romantically, but Winnie just kind of highlighted that fact and steered her in the direction of Mr. Miller. So I do feel like she respected Mr. Miller. She might have even found him attractive, but I don't think she would have even been thinking that he was looking at her in that way. And she might not have been looking at him in that way to that extent until Winnie kind of put that little nugget in her head. And I do agree. Yeah, with Shayla completely with that.
Yeah, I agree. I think Winnie was all bark and no bite.
Right.
And she seemed to have more of a moral compass. And when I say that, it makes me think of the gym teacher, which played Martin Freeman's best friend in the film. It was the gym teacher, Boris Fillmore, played by Bashir Salahuddin. He had made the comment when him and Martin Freeman were sitting, or Mr. Miller, were sitting on the kind of like the bench chairs out by the football thing. And he was basically like, I know where to draw the line. And your problem is that you don't know where to draw the line, because he was having a relationship with Winnie, but they never physically met up outside of school. Right. So do you think that there's a line when it comes to this sort of thing? Like, is there a line where it's like, it's okay to kind of like dabble or tiptoe on it?
Yes and no. I definitely see that there was a big difference between what Boris was doing and what Mr. Miller, Martin, I think that was it. Yeah, Martin was doing. But no, is that his real name? No, his name was
Martin's
Jonathan.
his real name. Mr. Miller is his name in the movie.
We're just going to go by Mr. Miller. I think it might have been Jonathan Miller. But anyway, it was a big difference between what Boris was doing and what Mr. Miller was doing, but neither of them should have been doing either.
Correct.
They shouldn't have been doing either one. Yeah, and that was a thing that Shayla also brought up too, is she wishes that there was an actual scene where Boris turns down Winnie because she felt like
Hmm.
the movie was depicting two inappropriate relationships between students and teachers, making it seem like that was a normal thing, that is a normal thing, which she doesn't believe it is. I don't believe it is. Maybe
Right.
somewhere in the country where they were
Right.
at. Speaking
Maybe
of that
somewhere it's
too,
pick a teacher,
the
any
country
teacher.
accents were terrible. I just had to throw that in there.
I
Did
didn't
you?
even notice it.
Because they were on and off. But Winnie was the only one that had a consistent like Tennessee accent. But like
Yeah.
Jenna Ortega and Martin Freeman's would like come in randomly, and it wasn't it. I was just thinking of the
No,
location of the
yeah.
film, and I'm like, that was terrible. I just wish they would have just left that alone. So Shayla expressed that she felt like the plot fell through, and I do agree with that. I feel like it was lacking in character development, and the only growth I could say, quote unquote, was in Winnie, and that's when she finally realized like trying to seduce Boris and recognizing how serious it really is to be entertaining a teacher like that. But but the last thing that Shayla said was, even though Cairo was the villain in the end, do you feel like Mr. Miller manipulated her?
I think he did. I felt like I don't know. The way they wrote the movie was for you to feel really empathetic for Mr. Miller. And I did feel that. There
Mm-hmm.
were times where I did feel bad for him because he had a wife who was like this renowned, very popular writer. And he's a
Mm-hmm.
writer too, but his book didn't have the same type of trajectory and success that hers had. And she
Right.
constantly reminded him of that.
Right.
And he was constantly in her shadow. Like even when they're supposed to go on vacation, they couldn't because like her editor called her, and so they definitely make you feel bad for this teacher that seems to be like a good guy, but that's bonkers. At the end of the day, it should have never gotten to that point. He's the teacher. And when I think of myself as a 16-year-old girl versus now, like my brain was way more malleable and I would do way stupider things then than I would now. And
Mm-hmm.
I think another huge role is the absentee ass parents that she had. Like, I get that
Yes.
she was 18, but you're not an adult at 18. Although the US has made that the legal age, or that the age that you become an adult,
Mm-hmm.
18, you're not. Like, I remember myself at 18, I was the farthest thing from an adult. The farthest thing. Didn't I was still on my parents' insurance, still not
Yeah.
living on my own. Like, being 18 does not make you an adult. And I feel like her parents should have been there. And if there was a parent present witnessing this, it would
Mm-hmm.
have put a stop to it a lot earlier.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. And Mr. Miller's wife was, I feel like the only connection they had was sexual. Like that's the only thing it seems like.
Yeah, like they had some weird kinks that each other both were into, so it worked.
Mhm. And like it was even like she was kind of normalizing this relationship, like how she was asking, "Is she cute?" Like, why would you
Yeah.
even ask that?
Yeah, like be for real.
Yeah, but again, like you said, the absentee parents, and even though she was 18 of a legal consenting age, he was still in a position of power over her. And we see that when he threatens to ruin her grade over that paper. He's like, "You cannot turn this in, or I will ruin your grade." Yeah, it just got so messy. It got really messy.
Have you ever had a teacher that you thought was cute or had a crush on when you
Yeah.
were like a little kid?
Yes, and I don't know why. And
I
they love
think
it.
I think every kid does. I
But
think that's normal. Your hormones are flowing.
but
That's
he's
when they
not
really
even
start to take
attractive,
off.
really. Like he doesn't.
The teacher I liked, I think, is still attractive. I mean, I need to see a more recent picture, but I just have
Yeah.
no doubt in my mind that he's still a good looking, great looking man. Just from
I haven't.
Riverdale.
Okay, yes, he's very
Like,
cute.
he was
Yes.
just like back then he was just like the cutest thing, and he had like a really good head on his shoulders, and he was very smart. And I don't know, like he was like popular. Everyone loved Eric. He played like so many different sports and stuff.
Mhm.
Like, I thought he was so cute. And I remember I told my friend to like, like, I think Eric is, I think back then I was like, I think Eric's so hot.
What?
I'd be
I'm
like,
glad they sent
babe,
you to Hampton. I'm so glad they sent you to Hampton.
no, literally. I would be like, babe, tell Eric I think he's hot. And he was like, he definitely wasn't feeling me. I think his type was definitely not me. He was just like, Imani's really, really pretty. But that was it. Like there was no conversation after that. Or if there was, I can't really recall it. And then as
Mhm.
I got older, I started to like have a thing for like light skinned men, and that's completely done. I mean, I would still like if my husband ends up being light skinned, I'm fine with that. But like that's not like that used to be like a real like I loved that. I don't care. I would say now I really don't have a type. You know, it's like I almost said New Boys, but that definitely was not New Boys. That was Ray Shrimmer. I don't got no type.
Oh yes, yes. No, I thought you were talking about New Boys, the light skin one. What's his name? It was Ben J and Legacy. That's why.
Yeah, Ben J and Legacy.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Yeah, Mr. I ain't gonna say his name, but yeah, I don't know. And I think he might be a Trumper.
Or
Yeah.
I don't think mine I don't think Mr. Vogler would do that. And he taught history, so I no way.
Yeah, no,
Mm-mm.
no.
Yeah, he was my freshman history teacher.
Okay. Aw.
Shout out to
So,
Mr. Vogler. I hope he's doing great things. He was so strict, but he meant well and like
mhm.
I don't know. He would always like call me out on my shit and be like, "You're better than this. Like, what are you doing?" So
That's a good
yeah, like
teacher. That's a good
yeah, he
teacher.
was a good teacher. Like he would pull me after class if I was like giggling too much and stuff. Like he would pull me in my face strict.
Hmm. That's funny. You are so funny. I can see it. Like I think it's because like maybe because I know you. Like I can just see like picture grading.
Right, literally, Monty.
Yes, so that's what makes it funny. Y'all probably like, what is she talking about? But y'all don't
No,
know.
literally,
Y'all
right.
know Sam, Jill, all y'all do know her.
My
But
girlies.
yes. So okay, last season you had reported on this movie, saying that they had brought an intimacy coordinator on set to film it. Can you remind us about that again?
So basically, the intimacy coordinator is someone that comes on set when you have to
Hmm.
do scenes that are very risque or like sexual scenes.
Hmm.
And they're put there to basically make sure you're comfortable, make sure you're okay with what you're doing. If there's
Hmm.
any changes you want to make, you can do that. And even if you agree to something, but in that moment you decide you no longer want to do it, you can do that. Or if you feel like you want to make changes, that person is kind of like that liaison between you and production and director and writing and staff to make sure that everything is smooth as butter.
Hmm.
And I know they talked about them having one on here, but if you saw Jenna Ortega in the horror movie X, I thought that was way more X rated than the way she gripped that comforter in
Hmm.
Mr. and Miller's Girl. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't see why everyone was in an uproar about it. Like it wasn't that crazy compared to her being on top of Kid Cudi riding him. I don't know. That's complete. I don't know. I just don't.
Yeah.
And they had a huge age gap too. I don't know. It wasn't because what their age gap was like 30 years in this movie.
31. Yeah.
Yeah, I think theirs might have been 16 or 20. So it was a big gap too. So it's just like I don't know. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I mean, I see why they use them, but I didn't see why people were in an uproar about this film.
Right. I was expecting a little more. Have you seen Eve's Bayou?
I haven't. I've heard of it though, but I've never seen it.
Okay, we're gonna have to add that to one of these lists anyway. But it made me, I was watching it the other day and it made me think of the intimacy coordinator. So for those of y'all who have not seen it, it is a 1997 film starring Samuel L. Jackson, Jordie Smollett, Megan Good, and Lynn Whitfield. And I won't go into much detail just in case we do review it one day, but it's actually a scene where Megan Good kisses Samuel L. Jackson. And it's not like a pet, it's like they're kissing. And at the time, she was only 16, and the character that she was playing was 14. And not only was it disturbing because she was young and he was so much older than her, but she was actually supposed to be playing his daughter. And they had a 33-year age gap between the two of them. In both of these scenarios, Eve's Bayou and The Miller's Girl, the actors, of course, knew what they were signing up for. So I guess you already answered the question whether you thought the intimacy coordinator was necessary in Miller's Girl. We established that we didn't think so because it was.
My gosh. I'm not even sneezing. I have like a coughing fit. I don't know what
Oh,
that was about.
oops. But yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, I guess only because they're trying
Yeah.
to maybe not get sued
Right.
but
What you won't do, somebody else will. So if
mhm,
Jenna Ortega didn't do it, there is somebody willing to do it. So I feel like,
mhm,
and intimacy coordinators are cool and all, but at the end of the day, if you decide that the film is going in a direction that you don't want to take the risk to do, there is someone who wants their big break, who thinks this might be their ticket, and whether they agree with it or not, are going to do it. So I think more along the lines of what you said, it's for legal purposes, but at the end of the day, what you won't do, someone else will. That's just life.
mhm. Yeah, I agree too. Because what Zendaya, I think we talked about this last season too when we brought this up. I heard she has something But then I also heard she had a little risky scene in The Challengers, which I still haven't seen. But like she doesn't do anything. Like she's like not naked. Like as we saw in Euphoria, Sydney Sweeney got her all her titties out. Yeah.
No, literally.
And Zendaya is like fully clothed. Even yeah. So again, it's like like you said, what you won't do, someone else will. And you
Hmm.
read the script. But I'm gonna be honest, if Jenna Ortega probably wasn't in this movie, I've probably been less likely to watch it. Because so
Yeah,
I
I mean,
guess
I before, but from this show I used to watch, if that, I don't even think that's her. I just thought about it. I don't think she's in Greenhouse Academy. I don't think that's her. So never
mhm,
mind.
wrong girl.
Wrong
Now
girl.
Boris, he's in one of my favorite shows. The South
Never
Side
seen Boris
Shot.
before.
Yes, he
Yeah, I
okay.
don't watch The Shy.
No, it's called The South Side. I'm sorry, but it's also based in Chicago. And he thinks he's white. Like him and his wife, they're both black. They adopted a little white boy. Like they hate him in the shot. I mean, the South Side. You have to watch it. It's hilarious. Very
Mm.
funny show. But this is completely different role for him. So it was very interesting watching this. But um, I give it a 5 out of 10. You already said
Yeah.
you give it an F.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Okay.
4 to 5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. I am gonna give it its praises with I really like the scene where Cairo and Mr. Miller were like simultaneously reading the story she wrote and like how they were showing that scene. I think that was really good storytelling. But other than that, mm, I won't be revisiting.
Oh yeah, no, that was this was a one and done.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a one and done. I'm sure
Hmm.
it'll probably be off of Netflix by next month and probably on Tubi. You know, Tubi get all the strays,
They do. They do.
so
But
it'll be on Tubi soon for
hmm
those who don't have a Netflix subscription.
hmm but I do look forward to seeing her in Wednesday, season 2. So
Hmm.
I guess we'll wait for that. But yeah.
Yeah.
So the next one I did enjoy though, Eric.
Yes, Eric was
Hmm.
really good. That was about a puppeteer, Vincent, who
Hmm.
clings to his missing son's drawings of a blue monster puppet
Hmm.
named Eric. He convinces himself that if he can get Eric on TV, then his son will come home. Rotten Tomatoes rated it a 71%.
Hmm. And I know you're gonna be shocked, but this one actually made me cry.
Very
I know.
shocked because nothing thus far has
Mhm.
made you cry.
Yeah,
Because
I
every
told you.
time I think, I'm like, did you? Did you? You're like, nope, nope,
No,
nope.
I told you I bought a soul over break. I went and bought one. That's my rebrand. I came back with a soul. So y'all go hear me every episode. I was crying watching this.
No, literally. We probably cried at the same thing. What made you cry at Eric? Like what scene?
That end scene, you know what's funny? Because I was crying, but at the same time I was laughing. Because
What?
like, all right, the end scene, okay. Wait, let me explain. The scene where he's running home, he's like, I'll race you
Mm,
home. And he's wearing the suit. And I was like, this is really some crackhead energy. He's got this big old suit running in the street because he was doing drugs. So I'm like, it makes sense. But
yes.
yeah, but no, I was tearing up at the the symbolism of I'll race you home and how he never would let his son win the
Hmm.
races. So how that kind of came full circle. But yeah, I was like, this is some real crackhead energy too, because you running in that hot old suit through New York, like running in New
No,
York. It's not
literally.
like,
Yeah, you're
but
not. Yeah, you're in. I know it was hot. No
mm-hmm,
shocker here. I cried too at that same exact scene. And then I also watered up pretty bad when he was fighting the monster, Eric, which essentially was him fighting himself because they show him fighting the monster and the monster like punching him back. But it was literally
mm-hmm,
Vincent fighting himself. And I think that just really tried to show like and it was like your inner feelings, your inner, all the like really negative bad thoughts you have personified. So
yeah,
like I felt really bad because it's like we beat ourselves up all the time. We're our worst critics, our toughest critics. So that really made me think about just mental health in that scene and just like, damn, we really all be going through our own personal demons.
mm-hmm, yep. And I can't remember what song this is, but in one of Kanye's songs, he literally has a line that says, "Name one genius that ain't crazy," and I love using that line. So I know I'm not right all the way, but it's been
Not
yeah, I'm not right. I just told my therapist earlier, I'm like, I've been in here for 4 years. 4 years, I'm still here.
you've been
But
what for four
in
years?
therapy,
Is that the
yes,
thing supposed to like graduate?
not necessarily graduate, but you're supposed to get to a point where it's like, all right, but I
Like I
haven't
know
really
how
been
to
seeing her.
manage on my own.
Yeah, I've been seeing her once a week.
For 4 years straight?
Yeah, like, you know, with
Wow.
wigs, but basically,
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta do better.
Sounds
Vincent
expensive.
definitely insurance. Yeah, insurance. I'm good with this insurance. But Vincent definitely was a creative genius. Like
Mhm.
he couldn't you cannot take that. You can call him this whole narcissistic maybe, you know, but you could not take away his creative genius and what he did with the TV show. But the way he treated his family and his coworkers just wasn't right. And like you
Yeah.
said, Eric was his mental illness personified, and all the self deprecating thoughts that he had, Eric would make vocal for the viewers, which I really liked. I
I
think that
liked
was
that too.
different. Yeah,
'Cause
because it's
usually
you
you
really
hear
feel that.
the sound in the
Right.
head and it's their own
Yes.
voice, and it just kinda makes me cringe sometimes when, like, they're having
Yes.
a thought inside and it's their own voice voicing their thoughts. So I loved the
Yes.
whole Eric played his
Yes.
thoughts.
Because it really made his character and his illness, I mean, his thoughts and his illness a whole character. And I really like that. That's what something that really stood out to me in the show.
On Reddit, I saw something that I thought I wouldn't like I didn't really think of until after I saw it, but like people were
Mhm.
not sympathizing with Edgar. Like they found his behavior to be very selfish. What did you think?
Now that you say it, yes. I mean, to be honest, when I was watching it, I don't think he was moving quick enough to get back home for me and
No,
kill.
really?
He was just eating his little French toast or pancakes, whatever that lady at the diner made him. Just chilling. His dad is on TV crying for him. Like, even if he didn't like his dad, he still had his mom to think about, even though she was a terrible person too. Like, but
Literally.
yeah, he just over here eating pancakes like it's all good. Dad, everybody been looking. The whole city of New York is looking for you. They stopped
You're
looking for the
using
little black boy
all
and
of the
look for you.
police's resources.
All of NYPD is looking for you with all of our milk cartons at this point, and you just sitting here. Which is crazy. No one, now that it hit me, no one even recognized him. Like he was in that diner and the lady serving him pancakes, but nothing was like, oh, you're that little missing boy.
Right. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that's a very good point. Like, how is nobody noticing that?
Right.
And I didn't give it much thought until they had said that. But unpopular opinion, probably to the average person, I agree with like the Reddit subbers or whatever you call
Yeah.
them. Because here's your father who's mentally ill and he's going to work every day and dealing with his shit. And you
Mm-hmm.
run away because your dad isn't nice. Edgar would not have lasted one night in Vincent as a child's shoes because Vincent's parents were terrible. Like
Insane.
to me, I feel like Vincent was a better parent. Like, you know, you can only hope to be when you have a bad parent because I have really good parents. So if I'm
Mm-hmm.
anything like them, I'll be good. But like
Right.
when you have like a really crappy parent, even if you're just a little bit better, like that's all you can really aim for. And I feel like he definitely was a little bit better than his own parents. And I felt like, I don't know, these kids are so sensitive these days. And I feel like as a kid, like I had to kind of get over it, pull up my belt straps, whatever they say the term is,
Mm-hmm.
bootstraps, I think, and
Mm-hmm.
like figure it out and deal with it. And like, I, I don't think anyone has perfect parents. And I'm not saying that like them yelling and throwing glasses is normal behavior because it's not. But it's just like to run away and literally follow a homeless man down into the pits of the subway. Do you know how scared I am as an adult in New York? I would never go into the subway and then into it, walk down on the tracks.
Girl,
Is insane.
it's the rats for me. If I think it's a rat
Oh God.
anywhere, no, no, no,
This reminded me one
not.
time when I was in New York and I was sitting on a bench and something went through my legs and all I saw was this tail and I knew it was a rat. I literally jumped up. I was like, I gotta go home.
Right. I
Like
don't
I
know what it
literally almost started
is.
crying.
I don't know
They're
what it is about New
huge.
York. Yeah. Like
Like
I
he
remember
literally
I
went through my
was sitting.
ankles.
Oh no, I would have probably blacked out and passed out because I just can't. That's literally I don't really fear much, but rodents I cannot do.
To that guy who
Drugs.
clearly likes little boys. Ugh.
Yeah, it was very disgusting, very disgusting. But and then like Yusuf lets him go with her, and then he goes with her. Like if she hadn't have fell and died, spoiler alert,
Oh yeah,
died.
he would have been. Yeah, he would have been with
Yeah.
other little boys. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, God was on his side when she slipped and what I guess hit her head or went into the sewage and he landed on the thing.
Right. And that's one thing
That
I
was
did not
crazy.
understand because she was talking about these plans for Edgar in front of Edgar, right? Like I thought they were in that
No,
little house
I don't
thing.
remember that.
Was
No,
they
I
in a
don't think she
house?
was really. No, I don't remember that. I feel like she always was talking to that guy in person, and then like when she was on the phone with him, like she wasn't in that little shack, whatever you want to call it. She would be like outside making a call. Then she would go right into the house and act like, so why are you keeping on to this kid? Like, they're not going to give you the money. Like, she kept trying to, like, I
Right.
feel like she would talk to the guy, then come inside and be like,
Right.
she wouldn't tell him what he was going to do, but she was like, let me take the kid and I'll get you money. Like, let me take the kid. I have a plan. But she wouldn't say
Mhm.
what the plan was. And I feel like
Okay.
Yusuf knew. So he was like, yeah, no, he's not going with.
Yeah.
She was for herself all the way. She
I
wanted
want
the
her to die
coin.
so
She
bad.
wanted,
I want her to die so
yeah.
bad.
I wanted her to die so bad.
Yeah, she.
Agree with you, was out of control. And I feel like at the end they show like him saying he's sorry and going to therapy. And I want to know, what is she doing? What accountability is she taking?
Right, because she was cheating and pregnant.
Right. Not just one, not pregnant, not just pregnant and not just cheating. Cheating and pregnant is
Cheating and
crazy. Like,
pregnant. And she drops the news on him while their son is missing. Like,
and wanted him to remain calm. Calm down, Vincent.
yeah,
Like,
he was
huh?
a lot better. Like, he handled that a lot better. Been like, yeah. But yeah, she. Yeah, I just. Oh, and speaking of Yusuf, it was some quotes in here that they said that really stuck out to me.
Mm-hmm.
He told, I believe he was speaking to Vincent when he said this, but he said the only thing you find at the bottom is yourself. And they had another quote: "Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing themselves." And then the overall quote that kind of sums up the whole series is, "Didn't anyone tell you the real monsters don't live under the bed?" Which was definitely shown because it had what these sex traffickers, these corrupt politicians,
Yep.
and another thing that that made me think of last season, Quiet on Set, because Vincent worked at a cartoon and he had asked
Mm-hmm.
his coworker, like, "Did you take my son? I know you actually like, you really like
And
him."
that threw me off.
And
I didn't
they,
understand until the end.
right, until it came out that he actually was a predator himself and he ended up killing himself. And that made me think of Quiet on Set because, like, all right, here we do have another popular kids show that people love. All these kids are watching, and they're the main people running it are into children. Like,
It's disgusting.
yeah. But that man said he was not going to jail. He was jumping right out that window.
Oh, because they were gonna tear him up in jail.
They were.
Yeah, when they get word that you're like on any kind of funny, weird shit like that in jail, they tear you up.
Yes. Which I don't blame them. They should. But
Yeah.
like, yeah. But overall, I think I gave it an 8.5. It really touched on a lot in those 8 episodes. Like we talked about mental illness, sex
Mm-hmm.
trafficking, corruption, abduction, stigmas in the gay community. I mean, it was a lot.
Yeah, there were so many themes. I would agree
Mm-hmm.
though. I would give it I would probably give it a little bit higher, like probably at 8.8, like a B plus for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a B plus.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked it.
Yes. So
Definitely
I am
top five for
recommending this
me.
one. Yeah, I'm recommending this one. Not so much Miller's Girl, but definitely go
Yeah.
watch Eric. Now, our very last one, The Hitman, you can watch if you want to. I'm not going to put a big recommendation behind that.
It's a cute
But
little date night movie at home.
yeah, something to throw on, got your little popcorn, you chilling. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not like something I'm like, you guys have to go and watch this right now. No, you're not going to hear that from me. But the description is: professional killer Gary Johnson breaks protocol to help a desperate woman trying to flee her abusive husband and finds himself falling for her. This movie stars Glenn Powell as Gary Johnson, Adria Arjona as Madison, Greta as Claudette, and Evan Holtzman as Ray. I don't really know why the description calls him a professional killer, because he was definitely a professor pretending to be a professional killer for his part-time job at the FBI. So that's already, I feel like, misleading, because he didn't kill any. Did he kill anybody? That's towards the end, but like that, he was not.
Yeah, I forgot about that. We killed
Yeah.
Ray.
Rotten Tomatoes rated it 96%, and I honestly do not know. I do not know.
Yeah, I don't know why either.
It it wasn't bad. Like, Vlad is
Yeah, it was a
like, uh, it's not as bad as you made it seem, because he was like, "I want to watch Hitman because you watched it," and I'm like, "I watched it for the podcast, but I mean," and I'm like, "It's not bad." But 96% on Rotten Tomatoes is insane. Like, the Black Panther, which is a masterpiece, got 97. And
yeah.
this
It's
is
not
only
fair to
a
put them in
percent
the
less.
same. Yeah,
Like,
that's
no.
insane.
And
And that's literally insane.
I feel like the whole time I was waiting for a twist. Like I was waiting for
Like her to be behind something.
something, and it
But I guess
never
they already kind of
gave
did
it
that
to
with Mr. and
me.
Mrs. Smith.
True. But I still think I wouldn't have minded if they did it again. But it
Right.
just
They could have made
didn't give
a
me.
twist on it.
Yeah, it didn't give me like I really thought the last scene where they're in the house and his coworkers there trying to like blackmail her. I thought it was gonna come out that she was actually working with the coworker. I just knew it. I'm like, all right,
Mm.
here goes the twist that I'm waiting on.
96% on Rotten Tomatoes and has Glenn Powell in it. You need to watch Top Gun Maverick. That movie is amazing.
Mhm,
I love it. I watched it so many times. I think it's so freaking good. So
mhm.
I would say, it's a cute, don't watch this with high hopes. I think sometimes when we watch a trailer or we hear about a movie, our expectations are high. Set them real low for this one so that it's
Yeah.
so like Vlad said, it wasn't that bad. So we're setting the bar super low so you guys can really enjoy it.
Yeah. And it's random, but I think I might have shared it on our story. But Glenn Powell was in one of the Spy Kids. And now that
Never
I
knew
go
that.
back, yeah, like of course he was like what 12, but I didn't even realize it was him. But
That's
I guess
crazy
that's
how
the
long
first.
sometimes it takes for people to blow up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I couldn't even tell you where the other two actors are. It was her name Alexa Vega. I don't know what her name was. Let me
Alexa
not even
Vega.
try. Was it
Yeah,
Alexa Vega? Okay, that's what I was gonna say.
I think so. And then I don't even know the brother's name. I know his name was what, Carmen?
Yeah, but I think he married someone else that's like a childhood star, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
I think so. I could totally be wrong, but
Okay.
I
I'm
think
gonna
he
look
did.
into it. I'm gonna look into it. But I do. Last thing I saw them in, because I got us eight. How old is Avery? She'll be nine. To say a 7-year old, but she watched the newest one, which I still think is still pretty old. But she likes to watch that one, and they're like grown now. So that's the
Mm.
last thing I've seen them in. But it's still a Spy Kids, where Jessica Alba is the mom.
But yeah, I seen that one.
Yeah,
She felt like a Netflix movie out, but I didn't watch it. But I did
really.
see it was in the top 10, I think, maybe for like a week.
I think I'm gonna check it
Um,
out.
yeah, she's like, it's an action movie, but yeah, it didn't really
Mhm.
catch my eye, so I didn't watch it.
Right. But yeah, I would have to say I'm gonna give this maybe a 6 out of 10. What do you think?
Yeah, it's not as bad as Miller's Girl. Definitely not as great as Eric. So yeah, I think definitely a 60. Yeah, 60%.
Hmm.
It's about right.
Yeah. But if y'all watch it, feel free to let us know. If y'all don't agree, y'all do agree. We're
Yeah, there
to
probably
watch it.
might be some Glenn Powell fans
Mm-hmm.
out there. Totally get
But
it. He's cute.
he is cute. He's very cute. All right, guys. Well, that wraps up our three for this week. Next week, we
Mhm.
will be watching Bad Boys, which I hope you all have seen by now. If not, you still have time. Supercell, which is on Netflix. It is a series. And then Paris, Sweet Tea Paris on Instagram, recommended us to watch the documentary Tell Them You Love Me, which is also on Netflix. So we just want to thank you guys for listening. Keep sending recommendations because we're gonna need them. I know we have a few that have come in, and I'm trying to schedule them out. But yeah, make sure you have your notes ready with your recommendations because we want to know what you think and we want to express what you guys think. So, anything else you want to add?
No, we're gonna do some stuff like out and about too. That's our goal with the
Mm-hmm.
new rebranding is to get out there, do more events where we can meet you guys, or even like us doing things out and about and asking people like movie trivia and seeing just how well people know their stuff about movies.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. And until next time, guys, have a great week. Bye.
Bye.